All right, Coach, so just, thoughts on the way you guys played today?
Yeah, I mean, a couple keys to the game. Number one is we want to protect the football on offense. Thought we did a great job of that. And then, we wanted to challenge these guys with us on the defensive side and knew we needed either some tackles for losses and put them in a bad situation, okay, or to be able to get turnovers of ourselves. And so I don't know what the count was. If we count the fourth down, stops as turnovers as well. And so just to watch the way the defense rose up in the second half, played great football. The only, negative that I can draw right now in my brain besides some of my play calls in the third quarter was that the complementary football has to continue to improve. Like I thought we were really hot early as an offense. That's something we've talked about with our Rise Up board and not so much defense. And then in the third quarter, I thought, it went the other way as far as defense was getting stop after stop. A couple of them were my fault, calling a couple boneheaded plays, and should have just trusted my gut on some things. But overall, super proud of the defense. The way that they came out and continued to fight and continue. I thought their eyes were better. They were trusting the system a little bit more. Our defensive backs were in great positions to make plays on the ball. Linebackers were as well. Threw us for a little bit of loop. We had no clue that the quarterback wasn't going to play. And so found that out pregame. So I thought our defensive staff did a nice job right before we went out, making some adjustments, knowing that, hey, we've seen him in Wildcat. He was a bigger body. We were expecting, a heavy pass team and thought that we had to flip some stuff kind of on the fly. And I thought our defensive staff did a great job with that.
Picked up your first win in the American. What does that mean to you and what does this mean to the program?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it shows. I mean, we've had two of them now, and it shows that we belong in this league, and that's what I told our guys after the game is there's no doubt. Now, we're not at a point yet to where, that we can't respect everyone, and so we're definitely going to have to play a really good brand of football, but something to build off right there. I think some confidence. We know we have some really good opponents coming up in the American. I mean, we have a 5-game stretch that's pretty dang tough, and so but just for us to continue, to build the foundation around here, to continue to get these guys to believe in what we're doing, to see, the way that they're taking accountability on and off the field is a huge, thing in my mind. And so we got to continue to build off that. And, this is one thing too. I mean, we can't read our press clippings after this and think we're better than what we are. I mean, we still know that we're in growth phase. We'll continue to be in growth phase until I declare it not. Don't foresee that happening for a long time around here, but super proud of our guys. Like, I mean, the way they're fighting for one another, the way they're cheering for one another on the sideline, like that's little things that people probably don't see from the stands. But I really believe that there's a bond and a love in that locker room that you can see when they're playing together.
You mentioned that stretch that's coming up against the top teams in the American. We talked a little bit about that at the beginning of the year. How have you seen your team progress through the beginning of the season up to this point to be ready for that?
Yeah, we've gotten a lot better, I'll tell you that. And it's kind of one of those things you don't know till you know. We found out, a bunch of positives during that, so that's not only a negative statement. But we've also found out, some of the pieces that really didn't want to buy into what we're doing. And so I think our coaches continue to hold our players to a high standard, and our players have gotten that. And it's good once they do that and they have success, and you see the smiles on their faces in the locker room, to see our defensive coaches, to celebrate. Those guys are working hard. Our kids are working hard. And so it's good to see that.
You mentioned in your opening statement about their quarterback change. How much did that throw you off early? And it seemed like after their first couple of possessions, you adapted to their game plan.
Yeah, I think, and it happened fast. And so we made a couple adjustments before the game. And then really when we were able to settle into it and find out what their game plan was going to be with him, there wasn't a ton of information besides a couple Wildcat packages. And he was actually, he was on their punt team. And so, yeah, I think it took a little bit. We changed some things pregame, but I think once they saw, they wanted to add some quarterback run stuff to their game plan. They ran some zone read stuff on us early. I thought we did a nice job adjusting to that and shutting some of that down, and then being able to stop some of the quarterback power run game downhill at us, which they hit us on early. They weren't very successful at it later. And then I think, too, just with the style that they wanted to play today, for us to get a lead was big and really, force them to do some things that they really weren't comfortable with.
Yeah, you mentioned the way your defense played today. It's been a bit of a struggle early in the season. Is this something that you guys can really carry forward or maybe build from?
Absolutely.
What's been the biggest improvement you've seen from Chandler from the first game when he came in as starter to like now today with like 4 touchdowns, 30 yards?
Yeah, I think just communication and him coming off, being the guy number one is huge. Obviously, going in with the preparation and the reps. But then, he's come off on the sideline the last 2 weeks and, hey, coach, they're doing this. What do you think about getting to this check? And so just to see his mind thinking like my mind thinks and how Coach Brophy's mind thinks, I think, he's almost like a coach on the field for us. We allow him to check some stuff. And so it's been good to see his maturity take over. And then, too, I think finding somebody like Macklin that he feels extremely comfortable with when he gets some man-to-man coverage to take some shots down the field. I think Jamori continues to make big play after big play. And so yeah, those are guys. And then, too, I thought the offensive line, establishing a run game the last 3 or 4 weeks has been big for us. And, Coach Cooper, I didn't call one play on the last drive. That was all Coach Cooper. And so it's always fun. The O-line coaches, they get a little giddy when they get a little chance to call the plays, right? And so but a phenomenal job of him, finding some stuff that was working with some of the zone patterns. And for us to be able to end the game like that, running the ball, I think was a huge step for us for our physicality mindset on this team.
How has he grown over the course of this first half of the season,
Chandler?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what was just those are basically the same answers I just had right there.
You guys scored on the first 4 drives. How important was that?
Yeah, I think it was important. I think our guys started fast. We have a sense of urgency. Like, one thing I'm going to have to figure out as a play caller and just as the head coach of this team is I got to figure out these lulls. And I think, I tried to run, a little cute play when we got the second turnover of the third quarter. And that's what I told our guys, like that was my fault. And so I got to keep trusting, what's working during the course of the game. I thought that it got us off balance for the first time. And too, it was good to see. I think, you could see a look in Macklin's eye. He wanted a ball. We went formation the boundary. We knew we can get one-on-one coverage. And we challenged him, like someone's got to step up and make a play after we went 3 and out like 3 times. And he came up with it. And so yeah, it's good to have those competitive players on the sideline that want the ball in their hands in key moments. And so yeah, some of it was my fault in the third.
What was the reaction like on the sidelines on those 2 4th-down stops from the defense?
Just great. I mean, I think the turnovers, you see the excitement. You can see the defensive staff. These guys are grinding their tails off, late hours around here to try to figure out, kind of to put our players in the best situations to win football games. And it's not easy. I don't care what level you coach at. Like, Division I football games are not easy to win. And so I think and that's my greatest joy in coaching is when you can see the players have success and they come over and they get the chance to celebrate, because I see them up at 6 a.m. every morning, at weights and doing things that other student athletes aren't, not student athletes, other, normal students aren't doing. So when you put in the work like that and to be rewarded and to see the joy on their faces is something that I love.
How much is the connection between Macklin and Chandler grown over the course of the season?
Yeah, I think so. Just anytime, you can put that ball up and he continues to come down with it and make plays for you, I think it's just a level of trust. And I think that continues to grow every week and something, when you prove you can do it over and over, those quarterbacks, I think, they like to have a safety blanket out there.
Today game marks the halfway point in the season, so just what are your evaluations from week 1 now?
Yeah, a lot of good, a lot of bad. I could write a dissertation about that right now. But I like where we're headed. I like our mentality. I like our toughness. I like, the kids are buying into kind of what we're doing. I think there's so much room for improvement, which we'll need kind of down the stretch. We have to continue to stay, healthy, which we've done for the most part. And, credit to Coach Keggins and just off-season program. And so, yeah, I think, just to not, to continue to love the processes that we're going through. I think the processes that we're putting them through, are hard every single week, and we're demanding a lot of them. And so, but anytime you fall out of love with that process, I think this is a humbling game. It'll come back to bite you in the butt.
How much has this sort of struggle kind of made the team stronger going into these months?
Yeah, that was our message a couple weeks ago. Is I think there's beauty in the struggle. And I think, today's age, in the phone world, I think that's where a lot of kids miss out on figuring out that that's so much you learn and you grow so much from really going through those tough adverse situations. And so we embrace it, right? And we know we want to run into the storm, right? And there's a little story, I don't know who tells it, but the difference between buffaloes and cows and why they've survived, that the cows run away from the storms and the buffaloes run into the storm. So we want to be a little bit more like buffaloes and run into the storm so we're not there as long as the cows, right? Someone will have to fact check me on that story. It just popped in my head. Thank y'all. Have a good day.
Something you kind of always had, or is it something you grew into like as the seasons progressed?
This is something that we've always talked about. Game planning. I mean, we talk every day as far as what we like, what I like, what we don't like. And then, especially with Temple, they've played a different defensive scheme every week. So after the first couple of drives, we're okay, this is what they're going to be in for the game. And we made our adjustments from there.
This is the kind of end of the first half of the season. What's the opening part of the season been like for you? Winning the job and then just growing over these last few weeks.
Right. It's been great because my confidence is continuing growing. That we're growing as a team. We're growing as a program with our coaching staff members, training staff. I mean, everybody is just becoming one. We're coming in unison. So it's really a thing of beauty to see.
Well, what about you individually? You feel like you've kind of found your rhythm here as the season's gone on?
I feel like I have because it's week after week, getting in the same routine, understanding the game plan, knowing the game plan. Just after going through spring, summer, fall camp, I was in the routine. It feels great.
You were able to connect with Demoria a couple of times for some big plays. Just what's the relationship between y'all? And what is it like to kind of have a receiver at that?
First, he's a very hard worker. Every day, all our receivers and quarterbacks we would throw after workouts, and even on Sundays. So we put the work in, and now it's showing. And me and J Mac's relationship, that's my guy. When he moved into the apartment or the house with a couple of our teammates, I was the guy he called to help move him in. So I'm the guy they can call on no matter what. So I'm the guy they depend on.
Coach talked earlier about like finding beauty in the struggle. The first 2 games of the season didn't start out as you wanted, but now you've got the first win in the American. Is that something that you feel like the team's got that message too? Like y'all are growing through the struggle and now, doing better.
Absolutely. They were just growing pains. Going through it is not pretty at all. It's very cloudy, but at the end of it, the rain stops at some point, and we feel like the rain is stopping, and we see a lot of sunshine because we see where we started at and where we're at now. This is night and day difference, and this is a really great football team.
Yeah, you had those first 6 games that seemed like kind of an adjustment period. Now you head into these next 4 where you're playing the top 4 teams in the preseason poll. You feel prepared as a team going into that stretch?
We do. We're not scared of anybody, but we respect every single team on this schedule. We have Tulane who won the conference last year, and they also beat USC. So this isn't a pushover at all. This is the top dog of the conference. So going into this game, it's great to have a win, but we watch this film, flush it out, but we make sure we prepare for Tulane.
And the defense shut out a team and a half for the first time this season. Just what is on offensively? What does that do for y'all's confidence to know that you can score and have on the other side of the ball?
It makes things tremendously easier. It's not like we're so tense where we feel we have to score, even though we would like to score every time. Just playing football, there's times you're simply just not going to score. Having a defense that shuts people out, it takes a lot of stress off. And then when you're up, you're able to run the ball a little bit more, or if you want to continue being aggressive, you can do that as well. So we have a lot of free range when the defense is stopping and playing well.
How everybody doing today?
All right.
Everybody doing all right?
Thoughts on tonight?
My thoughts on tonight?
Yeah, just on the day, the way you guys played, all that good stuff.
Good dub. Good dub. We left a lot out there. Still got a lot of mistakes that we got to correct, but, at the end of the day, we got the win. That's the most important thing.
Open up the win book in the American Athletic Conferences. What does that mean to the team?
It means a lot, man, and we know what we got. We know how confident we are in each other, so we just got to keep building on it, man, and we can go far in this thing. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, to go far in this thing, you've got those next 4 games against the top 4 ranked teams in in the American. You feel
Yeah.
good about where you guys are at heading into that tough stretch?
Yeah, it's always room for improvement every week, no matter win or loss. You know what I'm saying? There's always room for improvement, but I'll take my guys over anybody. So we're pretty confident about what we can do. Today showed it. Even though we left a lot out there, so we're gonna fix those mistakes. And
How much you guys have grown over this first part?
we've grown a lot as a team, and we always been close. But I feel like we've gone closer. And like I said, I have to give kudos to Coach Morris for helping us with that. You know what I'm saying? He keeps us together as a team, and every day, like I feel like this past week of practice has been our best practice. So and that it showed today. So.
Coach Morris has talked a lot about buying in early in the season. And
Yeah.
how he didn't feel like everyone was bought in.
Mhm.
What has that process kind of looked like to get to
Yeah.
this point?
Yeah, I think a lot of our guys are just they had to accustomed to like a new coach, a new coaching staff and stuff like that. So it's probably hard for them. But you just gotta. It takes time and it takes trust and building that relationship. And our coaches did a good job doing that. You know what I'm saying? So, we feel like we can trust them more and more and more every week, and they do a good job doing their part on that. So.
How much do you think about the energy on the sidelines today when you would make a big
Mhm.
play or the defense would get an interception? It seemed like y'all were getting
Yeah.
on the sideline.
Yeah, that was dope, man. We do that, man, and that energy on the sideline can, make you play even better. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people probably wouldn't think that, but it's a good thing seeing everybody bought in to what's going on.
How much is your connection with Chandler growing over the early part of the season?
It's grown a lot. I try to tell him, I be in his ear a lot about, I'm open. So I just gotta wait till he throw the ball to me, and I try to, make those plays whenever he do, and I trust him, and he trusts me. So, that comes with, in practice and stuff like that. So.
On your first touchdown of the day, you kind of tightrope it
Yeah.
down the sideline.
Mhm.
Feel like you were in the whole time.
I didn't even know I was gonna score. Honestly, I thought they were gonna return it, but I didn't even know where I was, honestly. So I was kind of happy that they did keep it on. So
That's kind of blew it open there in the second half. Did
Mhm.
you guys just get a little bit more in rhythm as the game went along like that?
second half, we was kind of slow in the second half. You know what I'm saying? We left a lot out there. We didn't. What did we score? Like the first drive, we went out there out of half, and it took us a minute to score again. But we can't do that. We can't get complacent. You know what I'm saying? Because teams can always come back and that we start off slow second half, and they can come back and bite us in our tails. So we just gotta learn how to finish a little better, execute a little better second half. So.
I was going to ask you about Rod. Rod's coming up probably this next week on getting 2,000 yards, which is a
Yeah.
big accomplishment for a
Yeah.
guy. What's it been like to play with him and since you've gotten here?
Osmond, though, he took me in as a brother. I mean, from the first time I walked in the building, you know what I'm saying? And he's one of our leaders on our team, and we all look up to him, you know what I'm saying? He's a real quiet, laid-back guy, so he doesn't even talk about the 2,000-yard mark, you know what I'm saying? He just, whatever comes to him. He's always just a happy guy regardless for his teammates and stuff like that. So he's really good, cool guy, you know what I'm saying?
It's just going to be special to see a guy that went from
Yeah,
walk-on
exactly.
to get the 2,000
Yeah.
yards. That'd be cool for the rest of you
Yeah.
guys.
Oh, yeah. It shows like a bunch of other walk-ons that they can do it too as well. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that was a walk-on and now he's, you know what I'm saying, going to be one of the leaders in UNT history. So it's going to be pretty dope for him, man. I'm pretty sure we're going to celebrate a lot for him. So, yeah.
All right.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
God bless y'all. God bless y'all.
All right, Nick, so thoughts on the way you guys played today?
It was a complete team effort win. All three phases played well. I think the defense made tremendous improvements from week one to now. And where we're at as a defense, it just leads us into confidence going forward from here. And I think the offense always has just been explosive, so it was good to see that.
What was it like in pregame and then the couple first drives where the new quarterback came in? Y'all had no idea he was going to be a new quarterback. What did that look like?
Right. So we weren't really expecting him to play, but we can't just lose our hope once what we expected and game planned all week's not there for us and ready. We just got to be able to adjust, and I think we did a good job of that. He obviously brought in a different aspect to the game plan. He was a very run-heavy quarterback, but I think we did a good job of containing him in the passing game.
Got a couple of big fourth down stops today. Just, what happened on those and what kind of energy does that bring to the second half?
Right. The fourth down stops, that just goes to show the front seven, the D-line, to the linebackers and the safeties too as well. Just them playing physical up front and blowing up those gaps, and it allows the people on the back end to play fast and tackle. So that also just gives the defense confidence, especially given our offense a short field. It's good for the team.
You guys are coming up on that tough stretch against 4 teams that were picked in the top 4 spots in the American. Do you feel more prepared for that stretch than maybe you did at the beginning of the season?
Oh, yes, sir, definitely. Like I said, I think the defense has a lot of confidence going here forward. Those are really good teams that we're on our schedule coming up in the next couple of weeks. So it's going to take a lot of just preparation and execution on our part to play good against them.
You're on the defense picked up 3 interceptions today. Just how important is turning over the ball on forward?
Anytime we can grab interceptions or fumble recoveries, any type of turnover is just tremendous. Getting that ball back to our offense, we have a lot of confidence in them. They got good players in the running back room, the quarterback's elite, the O-line, they can block, and the receivers make plays. So anytime we get the ball back to them, we're in good shape.
Coach mentioned that in this style of defense, you need more turnovers, you need more tackles for loss to make it effective. Did you take a step in that direction today?
I think so. Not even just tackles for losses, but short tackles for a 1 yard or 2 yard game can be effective for this defense too. And that's any defense you play in. So just little things like that, I think we've improved on week to week, and it showed today.
It kind of felt like a lot of those short games you're talking about, even the safeties and cornerbacks like coming in making those hits. That's something you've improved on as a secondary, or was that something y'all always had, just willingness to stick your nose in the run game?
Well, definitely in this defense, you got to be willing to tackle at any position from the corners to the safeties. And I think Coach Cap does a good job of putting people in position to make plays. And that's how you've seen a lot of those tackles being made by our secondary players today.
Kind of at the end there, Rich had a diving interception. Do you think he came up with it? He had a pretty good angle.
Yeah, I think he came up with it. Ridge, my guy, I definitely think he came up with it. He's a ball hawk, so yeah, he made that play.
What'd you see on your interception?
So really, I came off on my man, which I wasn't supposed to do. But I just seen the quarterback. I seen a wide open receiver going to the end zone. I just seen the quarterback. I just made a break on it and tried to make a play.